You have to look at yourself and view yourself as absolutely nothing. Meaning, the greater the Jew, bigger the Jew, that means the smaller he thinks of himself. This is not to say, again, humility is sometimes confused, where people think that just because somebody that's humble is constantly abusing themselves, or is someone that has self-confidence issues. No, this is not what we mean when we say humble. Humble doesn't mean that you think of yourself as a loser. No, Moshe Rabbeinu absolutely did not think of himself as a loser. He was a winner in all shapes and forms, and he knew it. He knew exactly where he stood next to all people. But he wasn't comparing himself against the homeless guy down the street, and he wasn't comparing himself against the people. He was comparing himself against the source. He knew that by himself he had nothing. He was nothing. Without the source, without Hashem Yitbarach, he had absolutely nothing. So when someone starts looking at things from that perspective, then they realize that they are nothing. So if a Jew wants to be great, he has to start viewing things that way. Now, when someone doesn't view things that way, they can learn all the Torah they want. They can learn Torah from here until next year. Non-stop Torah, but they don't have the slightest amount of humility. Their Torah is considered To'avat Hashem, meaning disgusting to Hashem. Torah, the only reason why Hashem created the world was for the Torah. He didn't create it for the Jews, by the way. He created it for the Torah. Torah was created before the Jews. Hashem looked at the Torah and created the world. Meaning Hashem looked at the Torah as the blueprint, and from the blueprint, He created the world. So He saw, okay, so there's supposed to be mitzvah for shluach haken, to take the eggs or the baby chicks from the nest after you shoo away the mom. There's one mitzvah that's hard for people to understand. We did a whole chidush about it, about 20 minutes, explaining it, maybe a month ago or so, before the holidays. And there's a mitzvah that you have to do it. So Hashem says, okay, so I'm going to create birds, that they make nests, and they have their chicks in there. There's a mitzvah of kosher food. So I'm going to make certain animals that can be kosher and certain animals that can't be kosher. There's a mitzvah of tefillin. So I'm going to make tefillin. I'm going to give man the wisdom to create tefillin. So Hashem looked at the Torah as a blueprint and then created the world. Not the opposite. Not created the world and then wrote the Torah. The Torah was written 974 generations before the world. Black fire on white fire. This is the reason why you see white pages but always have the black ink. You don't see the Torah, Sefer Torah, with purple ink or with red ink. You see with black ink. Why? Because it represents also the way the Torah was originally written was black fire on white fire. Somebody makes a chilul Shabbat, chas v'shalom. Somebody shaves with a razor. Somebody goes with a non-Jew. Somebody, eats not kosher. Somebody makes all of these big sins. Okay, you made a sin, you do tshuva, b'ezrat Hashem. Hashem created tshuva also. He knew He had to create tshuva before He created the world. But if you're doing it on a regular basis, doesn't matter, even if it's the smallest sin. You're on a regular basis going to McDonald's. Once a week, going to McDonald's. Now, eating non-kosher is not karet. It's not. You don't get cut off from the nation for eating non-kosher. It's not good. It's going to be very, very difficult, virtually impossible for you to learn Torah and actually understand what's going on. But it's not karet. But if you're doing it on a regular basis, you're violating the Torah on a regular basis, where it's become part of your life, where you're accepting this is okay. This cuts you off from the nation.